This week, San Francisco makes some bold moves as it denies a robot its e-prong given right to work while also demanding it pay back taxes. And all of your Casper the Very Friendly Ghost slash fiction comes to fruition as we welcome our new superhuman into our Hall of Fame, the Spectrophiliac. We have a dream, we have an agenda, and we clearly just want to watch the world burn in a blazing ball of anarcho-nerd culture. It's Lose a Turn. Welcome to it. Greetings and salutations, I'm your host, Chuck, and joining me today we have Matt Herring and Lord Jack. How you doing, guys?
Good. I'm tired. I'm good.
Tired? Good and tired.
You'll hear me complain every week about finals and school and whatever, and so, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Man, so I've definitely spent several minutes using this podcast as a platform to air my grievances against the city I live in and its traffic. I am now convinced that Fort Worth is the Florida of Texas. On my way home each evening from work, I'm reliant upon Google Maps because there are 3 distinctly different roads and freeways I can take to get home. And on any given day, there's bound to be at least one wreck on each of these paths, just because the traffic here is so absurd. Everyone's just hyper-violent and stupid. So that can, add another half hour of traffic on most days, just for me getting home. But to top that off, the other week, it turns out some dude snuck into someone's house, set it on fire, and stole some stuff. And as the firefighters were arriving, he runs out and tells the chief, "My wife and dog are in there. Please, you have to save them." And so as they go running to the burning building, this dude just steals the fucking police chief's truck and takes it for a joyride and runs directly into a pump at a 7-Eleven just a couple miles from my home. I fucking hate this city, guys. I gotta get the fuck out.
Oh my god. Did the pump blow
I live
up
in
at all?
Florida, Texas.
Okay, so I do want to go back to that analogy. The Florida of Texas.
Yeah. I mean...
Florida's not known for bad traffic.
No, not known for bad traffic, but there's Florida Man. And I think that's synonymous with Fort Worth Man. Like, in researching for this show, more and more frequently, I am finding articles, and I'm like, wow, that's profoundly stupid. Oh, fuck, that's in Fort Worth. It's now happening with an alarming frequency. I've got to get the fuck out. So this week, our hero is the Spectrophiliac. This young woman by the name of Amethyst Realm, eye roll here, has given up on men. She was married, but her husband was away at work a lot, so she spent a lot of time alone at the house and started sensing a presence. So
Wait.
I guess, huh?
I was gonna say, nothing wrong with that. I'm on board.
Sure.
More power to her. What kind of presence did she start sensing?
Apparently a roguishly handsome spiritual presence. And so she decided
Spiritual, okay. So this isn't someone's like watching her.
Well, the sense was, yeah, she was being watched, but definitely from something beyond the veil. She decided to dress up in some nice lingerie and wait around like a plate of cookies for Santa until Mr. Ghost decided to invite himself in, her nuthers. Her husband came home to find her not in medias res, in flagrante delicto spiritualo, maybe? No? I'll have to workshop that whole thing. So, yeah, it turns out her marriage didn't work out so well. But that's fine, because she's done with, fleshy men things. She has now had sexual encounters with over 20 different spirits. It seems that they're kind of one night stands and no one's really ready to commit. Even, even dead, he can't commit, and that's got to say something about her, I think. She's not.
Go ahead.
She's also not entirely opposed to the idea of having a ghost baby with a would-be ghost suitor.
Okay. Would this be considered adultery, do you think?
See, the book's still out on that one. I think to commit adultery, you have to not be an insane psychopath. No, I don't think that's actually mutually exclusive of it. You actually have to have a sexual encounter. I mean, I'm not trying to say that she's full of shit. I mean, I could be wrong, but
I wonder if that could... I don't know. I mean,
psychotherapists are outright saying that it's a hallucination and that it's due to like stress, anxiety, depression, and trauma mixed up with a spectrophiliac fetish kind of thing.
Psychosis.
I would say at the very least. But the weird thing is on the interviews with her, I don't know, like I feel like I don't even think she believes her shit.
Schizophrenia is a thing, and you think she's bullshitting, or?
She was on this talk show, and every time she was asked a question, it was just like, "Oh, yeah, it's hard to describe, but you just know, and you just feel it."
Okay, so she's
and
not.
Would you like to have a ghost baby? Yeah.
There is no physical manifestation here. This is all mental, according to her, or maybe not.
It's hard to describe, as she would say. It's there's pressure in the thighs and breath on the neck, and it's just this feeling of safety. You can feel it. It's difficult to explain. Again, every explanation is difficult to explain for her. I don't know. I imagine that you'd be able to describe it if you decided that you are done with men forever, or women, or whatever, anyone physical. I think you should be able to describe what it is that converted you, but...
So it sounds like it's not a one-in-one substitution here. This is something... It's a different experience, so... I don't know. It's kind of like saying, I tried roast beef one day, so now I'm never going to drink milk again. I don't get the connection here. These are very different things that are being described. I got a puppy, and so now I feel no need for human contact. I guess that would be a more apt or fair comparison, but still, though, it's...
I mean,
really?
There's another woman I was reading about in the UK yesterday who is trying to get married to this 90-year-old chandelier. And to me, the grossest thing of that, of course, is like the 57-year age difference. But that actually has a physical manifestation, though. That's a physical thing that she takes to bed every night. She literally does.
Well,
exactly. She unhangs it from the ceiling and cuddles with it. But
and I'm okay with that. And you are taking a physical... You're replacing a physical thing with a physical thing. So is it just an emotional... But the problem is, like, having an emotional connection with something that is... at best in your mind. Like, even if it is a ghost, like, all the interaction is within her mind. There's no measurable relationship or interaction between the two beings. It's not like that ghost can push her and she moves back. You understand what I'm saying? The exchange is not there. It is in her mind. This relationship, this emotion... And it sounds like she's describing a purely emotional relationship. It's only happening in her mind. And so it's still kind of strange to me to replace a human interaction with that.
Sure, yeah. No, it absolutely is. It's very bizarre. And it is definitively a sign of something not quite right. Either this is just a I want my 15 minutes of fame, so let me make some bold claim that can't be disproven nor proven. But maybe she takes this seriously. Maybe this is for real for her. Not surprisingly, like a day after she comes out and does this talk show, another woman, this one in America, claims that she too has given up real life partners for sexual spirits.
Okay, so my actually the more pressing question I have is, you know what? I'm okay with the idea that she's doing her, and if that's what she wants, whether it's a phase or a full life choice, or maybe it's not a choice. Maybe this is son of a bitch. But maybe that is the result. Is that I guess what I want to know is whether or not the husband walked in on her, saw it happening, and he wasn't okay with it and divorced her, or she just said, "No, I'm done with you." And if she was the one who backed out and said, "No, I'm not trying anymore, I'm not doing it anymore," it's kind of shitty of her, in my opinion.
I mean, you're right. I actually wish I knew. She got caught. And she claims he saw a shadowy shape on top of her, but she doesn't really go into talk about how her relationship ended with her then fiance. Excuse me, they weren't actually married.
Oh, okay.
But and this began 12 years ago, so that means she was 15 at the time. Okay. There's a lot more to discuss on this that I don't even want to go into. I do not want to peek behind this veil a second longer. Let's move on. Spectrophiliac, welcome, you crazy, crazy nutbag. So, San Francisco is...
I wish them both the best, and we don't need to revisit this.
Ever.
So, San Francisco, they do a lot of nutty things over there. What are they doing this time?
Well, there was a SPCA center, and they employed robots to patrol the area around their facility. And it's a weird little chess piece looking robot on wheels that has all these dog and cat stickers all over it, so it looks cute. But it patrols the entire campus and shoos off homeless people. Right
now, I am... Okay, so I'm picturing loader bots, and then I hear you say shoots off homeless people?
Shoes. No, I like the idea of shooting homeless people. SPCA, spay and neuter your dog, and don't forget to shoot your homeless.
Shoes as in takes their shoes, or shoes as in you're a dog, get out, go. That's adorable. Yeah. That is freaking adorable.
Well, unfortunately, this model of robot, it's called the Nightscope. Or at least that's the company that creates it. So I think that's also the robot's name. Has not had the best track record. It kind of accidentally ran over a kid's foot in California, and has not made the best name for itself.
Why am I laughing at that?
The thing is that Nightscope rents these robots out for $7 an hour. So they're making less than minimum wage, which is a travesty. And now San Francisco has said that they aren't allowed to use their robot to shoo off all the homeless people around the SPCA shelter.
And for why? Why not?
Perhaps because of how dangerous this robot is. I mean, it's murdering children's feet.
I mean, in a certain regard, it's not nearly as dangerous as having a cop do it.
It's illegally operating on a public right-of-way, and San Francisco is threatening to fine SPCA $1,000 per day.
I was understanding that this was operating on private property. People hire these robots to patrol their property.
Well, they're renting out, a storefront and using the robot to patrol the whole area, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And shoot the homeless people away there. So I can technically see why the city says it, but now I don't know. They're making a steal with the $7 an hour thing. So maybe $1,000 a day isn't really that bad. Like you can still do it.
Hold on. I want to step back and examine this. How does the robot identify the homeless people?
Okay, new break in AI.
Is it using AI to like? Does it have a smell-o-vision or something like that? Wait, oh no, cigarettes and urine. You got to go.
No,
Subject
during the
drinking
development of the
Thunderbird
robot,
must be homeless.
during the development of the robot, I was probably just sitting in a room in front of like millions of TVs and like pictures of just homeless people and what they look like. So I don't know. Maybe I got this idea that way. It looks kind of like
the
a homeless
alcohol you
guy.
are consuming is worth less than $3 per liter. You must be vagrant. You must be annihilated.
Can these be remote controlled? I mean, traditionally, I would think of a robot as something that is remote controlled.
Remote control. So they have to hire someone else to push the robot around.
Well,
and
like the
tell them to yell
storefront
at homeless
owner could
people?
do it, and the idea is that, in
It's
my
two
mind, the
people.
idea would be
you're paying.
no. The owner can say, "All right, there's a homeless person out there. I don't want to get into a dangerous confrontation. We will both be scared in that interaction." He's more likely to be defensive, maybe pull a knife. I'm more likely to be defensive and maybe want to pull a gun. Something like
Rent
that
an
could happen,
exoscoop.
which is
Exoscoop.
dangerous. But that's dangerous. Whereas if you send a robot to shoo someone, then all of a sudden you're removing those. All it is a nuisance, and the robot doesn't have to worry about its own safety.
Are you anti-homeless?
No, I'm saying the robot's a
man.
nuisance.
Pick your words very carefully, because you're coming off like you have a problem with homeless people.
No, what I mean to suggest is that that is a more safe interaction than someone going out and saying you can't be here and letting that situation escalate. There are certainly situations where I could see that being preferable than a cop going and trying to interact with people that were being told to leave. Do you understand where I'm coming from here?
Well, yeah, you're proposing that, we can just
The
get
robot
Bruce Willis
doesn't have
and his
to-
surrogate to work for SPCA, shooing off the homeless people that you hate so much. But
You told
it's
me
still-
shoo off, not shoot off. This seems safe to me. The robot doesn't have to be concerned about its safety. The homeless person doesn't have to be concerned about his safety, his or her safety, because they're just going to be shooed away. And, I mean, by all means, they could probably just lie there and deal with the beeping and the please leave that's coming out of it if they really wanted to.
Maybe
that's
it
what I
has,
was going
like,
to
human
say.
repellent.
So I was going to ask, like, okay, so I imagine if there's this robot dog trying to shoo away homeless people, like, at first I imagine, like, this kind of, like, small, like, K9 from Doctor Who, like, rolling up to it, just telling it to leave, but at that point, if I were in that situation, I'd probably just kind of like kick the dog or knock it over. So, in order for this to work, shouldn't the dog be kind of large and really scary looking? And just have this gigantic 12-foot robot dog? That would shoo away some homeless people.
There is not an actual... It's not shaped, or it doesn't look like a dog in any way, shape, or form.
So
it looks like a dildo. And it just has
going
pictures
from-
of dogs
Wow.
on it.
Okay, that'll work.
I do apologize for all the crosstalk. I had gone from picturing Loaderbot to maybe Rob from Super Smash Bros. I can't remember his original game, Robot on Batteries, that guy. Just driving around, and now you tell me it's an R2D2 motherfucker?
Well,
that is what that is. Okay.
I don't
Did you
know.
really
I guess
see
I
it?
was actually imagining a dog. Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, it looks more like a trash can or something with stickers of dogs on it all over it. There's like a chihuahua all over the front. Yeah. So, so now the other thing is that, yeah, maybe they were making a killing by hiring an anti-homeless personnel unit for $7 an hour, but you've also got to have Matt's remote control operator, apparently, because this is not a self-sufficient robot. And then you have to hire a third guy to, like, scrub all the urine and vomit off of the robot every hour on the hour, because it's a walking biohazard if that doesn't happen. Like, I don't know if this is an effective method anymore. You've actually completely stolen all the wind out of my argument. But that's not enough for San Francisco.
I think it is. At this point, you've sold me. How did this happen? You sold me, and now you're the one thinking it. Right now, I think this is a very safe way to have those confrontations that never should have escalated in the first place.
I guess this is creating more jobs. It would just be one, like, buff dude, like, security badge, all that stuff. It would be his job to ask homeless people to leave. But now you've created a job for a robot and a job for the robot urine scrubber and for the controller.
Well, and there's what's the company's name again?
Nightscope.
Yeah. So Nightscope, if they get fined $1,000 a day, all they have to go out and do is go out and be like, "Hey guys, handle a jack in it for you if you go camp outside this store, this store, this store." And so, I mean, they're paying what, $4 an hour to these homeless people, maybe less than that, to just go camp out so that they can have a reason to go shoo them away.
Well, Nightscope is the creators of the robot and the one renting it out. It's to an SPCA unit.
So they pay the homeless people to go camp out, and then they get called for $7 an hour. Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of a brilliant business model.
I think they need to
the San Fran wants to find them, the more they can just hire more homeless people to make it profitable again.
Yeah, well, Jim Beam just recently created a AI smart whiskey serving unit. So if you could kind of like breed one of these trash can robots with the Jim Beam spout unit, you can just have it leave a trail of whiskey all the way to City Hall. And then City Hall is going to have to hire these units to shoo away all the homeless as the hordes arrive. Like
Even
that
better.
episode of South Park.
Even better. That's the idea. That's the $1 million idea. All of a sudden, City Hall is going to be like, yeah, no, I get it. I understand. We need these on public property. Clearly, we can't just have cops go out there and do this because these confrontations are escalating and it's only a matter of time before someone gets killed. Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's do this.
And we're going to create more jobs as we now have the treasury of robot sanitation and deurinization. Like that.
Full disclosure, I'm about to buy stock in Nightscope, so like I just don't want y'all to come at me. Y'all don't know this is about to happen.
We better get on it. I mean, I guess. Well, you see, here's the problem though: is San Francisco isn't done fucking around with its robot populace, because now it's beginning to process what it means to have robots in the workforce, and that it's projected that as much as 50% of current American jobs will be lost due to robot employment. So now they're deciding what taxes do these robots need to pay, you know, if they're having this big of an impact. Now, the Great Depression, we had a 25% unemployment, and then a couple of years ago, during the Great Recession, we had like a 10% unemployment. So if we're talking about 50% unemployment, I mean, this is worse than both of those combined. Now,
well, and we've
as
talked
we've
about
just
it before.
established.
Well, I was going to say, we've talked about the idea of UBI before, a universal basic income, as a possible solution, though the merits of it aren't entirely known. But the idea is, with more robots still fulfilling the work, and the production and the capacity of those jobs, even if the jobs are deleted, the economy should still be able to sustain a payout to people who are unemployed at a UBI level.
Yes.
Of course, that it may or may not work, but it is worth considering because the alternative is a pretty devastating crash.
It is. Maybe there's a better idea we haven't come to yet, but something at the very least similar to UBI is going to have to be enacted. Now, there was a recent poll in the UK regarding this exact same thing that San Francisco is doing, And the majority, like 57% of the workers said that they're convinced they're going to lose their job. They wouldn't mind working for a robot boss, which was a strange thing. They're like, oh, I'm totally cool with having a robot boss, but I'm going to have my job lost by a robot employee. And I don't even want a free fucking welfare check. I want to do something meaningful. So,
Sure.
and that's understandable. I mean, we are looking at a potential future in which very few people need to work. You know, we have this utopia
Yeah.
where, you know, the robots haven't decided to kill us yet, and we just get a free ride for a couple of years. But it's about doing something meaningful. And that it also begs the question, what exactly will a robot be defined as? If we're going to have a robot tax, and is it any technical thing that doesn't require human input in order to perform duties that would have previously have been
So a
Played by
robot
human?
tax is a very peculiar idea. It's one you kind of have to turn over in your head a few times. A robot's not making purchases, and what would they need to purchase? A little bit of oil, some electricity? I mean, what is there for the robot to purchase? So why would they be paid directly? Why would they be paid a certain amount? You know?
Do you think just the companies creating the robots would have to be taxed for it, essentially, for the work that it's doing, or the companies that hire the robots?
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I
the company
think
that
it-
hires the robots would have to pay a tax for each one of those, and that would be kind
Yeah.
of rolled up into the UBI
I think it
budget.
sounds stupid. It sounds
Yeah.
really, really, really dumb.
Yeah, it does. And when you get down to the fine grain of it, what's the difference between having a robot that just shoes homeless people and, you know, the difference between that and then literally creating a program that performs the majority of my job function?
Well,
You know,
it's
one has a physical presence, the other could be cloud-based and not, you know, I mean, I guess it's not robot at that point. We are talking
Exactly.
about AI, but if it's not AI because it's just a program that automates things, it does that
Do we-
fall into
do
this
we-
or not?
do we tax assembly lines for adding more infrastructure other than the tax of implementation? So I'm buying parts. There's a tax on that because I'm the final recipient of what I'm purchasing. I'm buying schematics or whatever. There are taxes there. But we don't tax services directly. Like this is really silly. I
Absolutely is.
can't wrap my mind around why it's such a good idea to tax things. It on the same note, like if we go to UBI, what's the point of taxing people for the UBI income? I am so sure they will tax people under
You're right, they absolutely
universal
will.
basic income. But
And
what
that
is the
is-
point? That's kind of insane.
Yeah, it is. It honestly is mad at that point. But you're also right in your projection. That's exactly how it's going to go. There's no other way around it. That's
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
be done.
because
Fuck.
they tax you on your unemployment income, and that's kind of your good indicator that most places are going to be very much on board with the idea of taxing UBI. Like you're receiving unemployment as an insurance. Basically, unemployment in almost all states works as an insurance system under FUTA and SUTA. And you're receiving your payment based on your eligibility for the claim. You've been paying into an insurance, and so they do tax you under that premise that it's just an insurance claim, but you're receiving the money from, you know, taxes already. It's a really bizarre system to me that they would tax unemployment, because there is a limit to how long you can claim unemployment. And I mean, why not just say you're just not eligible for the extra?
Right.
I'm oversimplifying the system just a little bit, but yeah,
Well,
you'll get
I mean,
what I'm
yeah, but
saying. So
exactly.
really, realistically, we just need the AI to take over and worship our new AI overlords. Is that the idea here?
I mean, maybe robots are just going to have to pay humans to crank a wheel to like recharge them or something. Like we're going to create and innovate our way into a role as a fucking hamster in a wheel. And that'll be our only purpose, is to keep fueling the robots that have taken all our jobs.
In terms of efficacy, I think the Matrix had a better idea on how to utilize our energy.
Well, yeah, but we have to feel important and in control. I mean, if we're just a fucking battery, that's lame.
But we get to look
important.
sexy while we do it, right?
Yeah, we gotta oil ourselves up and get on that rowing duty.
Well, maybe whenever the whole robot uprising comes and we have no more jobs, that's at the point where we all get into virtual reality and just and just work within the virtual world.
Scientists are like 2 weeks away, I promise, like I'm seeing in the future, 2 weeks away from harvesting the power of like rank farts to be some sort of biofuel that can be used to power the robots. The robots will do these jobs each day. Then they'll be responsible for buying us some horribly like Taco Bell mixed with like Fogo de Chao in a big bean salad or something. Like, they'll have to feed us. So robots will have to take care of us because we're now their pets, but it's a symbiotic relationship. They feed us Taco Bell and we fuel them with farts.
What about
future's
Fogo de
amazing.
Chao and Taco Bell does not sound appealing to you? Because you just tried to make that sound unappealing. And
No, I didn't. I tried making it sound super appealing. So it wasn't the fact that I thought Fogo de Chao was awful. It's the fact that I'm such a fat kid, and I know that tomorrow at work we're having a Christmas dinner at a churrascaria, and I can't stop like thinking about delicious meats on sticks being served to me. So if the robots want to do that, I'm all for it. Pay your taxes, feed your humans, and we will fart for you forever. We still serve a purpose. Yeah, I think that's really it. We don't need to have all these crazy laws and regulations. We just need to require the robots to like get their fuel from us and delete all. No, they'll figure it out anyways. Stupid smart robots. We're fucked. You remember the days whenever we were, important and, predominant? It's all going away. The robots are taking over. Sad day. Speaking of robots taking over in South Korea, in their Olympics there, they had a robot run the torch this year in the open ceremony. And at that point, he got to a wall, drilled through it, and then passed the torch to the creator of the robot, who then handed the torch off to his newest robot model, who's like a big, beefy monster of a robot, who then took the torch and continued to run with it. Oh, robots now doing opening ceremonies for the Olympics. Interesting.
Check. You've got to get out of this habit of burying the lead. It did a relay race where it drilled a hole through the wall to get to the next relay, and it might carry a torch for the Olympics. Is your bit? No. This robot can both run and drill through a wall and crawl its happy ass through that hole it just made, and that's amazing. Where is my video of this?
It's on YouTube. It's the Pyeongchang Olympic opening ceremony for this year. So, you can look it up. Oh, boy.
Who writes these headlines, and why do they suck?
I think every time you've asked that, it's been the New York Post. But that definitely falls into our TMZ news categories. It's where we find most of the shit for this show. People who just bury the lead and do everything backwards.
Oh, you know what? Last time it was the New York Times that did that.
Yeah.
Was it the New York Times or New York Post?
You said Times, but...
Oh, fuck. Okay. Shit. Yep, very TMZ. That's it. So here's something that's not really all that... I don't think they buried the lead here, but the U.S. has finally deregulated its telegraph service. Remember telegraphs, guys? That was a thing? The last Western Union telegram in the United States was over 12 years ago.
Now,
and they've just now deregulated the service.
So the hams can go wild with this.
Oh,
Is that what I'm hearing?
That's pretty much exactly it. The FCC is no longer involved in supporting it, saying screw it, it's done. The last telegraph company in existence or the last big telegraph company in existence shut down in 2013, and that was in India. And we were still employing people in the roles of being telegraph carriers or whatever they're called. I don't even know what the fuck the job's called.
Oh my god. Why? And also, so how do you distinguish this from any kind of other data transmission?
Yeah.
My idea is, okay, so you go through a few steps of thought here, like, oh, okay, so the hams can use, hams are the people who use radios. They build their own radios, and they just try to talk to and connect with other people around the world. Generally, there's a certification you can undergo to get a ham license, and you're allowed to use those airwaves for that purpose if you're licensed. And there is a reputation for people like that to actually be the post-apocalyptic nuts, though that's not always the case. Many of them are very, very intelligent. So you take the idea that hams can now telegraph to each other, and they're transmitting data in the forms of Morse code through a telegraph. That's not all that different than bit transmission, and I imagine you could make it far more efficient if a human's not keying out the Morse code. So at what point do you take this telegraph system and you turn that into like, hey, we're just going to use HTTP no over TCP no /IP no, and we're sending it over a telegraph wire, and now, like, get out of my internet's government. Do y'all understand what I'm kind of suggesting here?
Yeah, I'm feeling you. That's so we're gonna
have to take a step back to pirate
internet, though. Like it's like
I mean, all of this is well documented. It's not a major step back.
No,
get
it's
a computer and. You know, someone spends a year writing a little bit of software for it, and you've got an unmonitored network.
Well, I mean, we have to delete all knowledge of it so that our robot overlords don't tap into it, because we have to at least have one way for us to communicate without these jerks. Excuse me, I don't mean jerks. These wonderful overlords of ours to be.
Oh, we just encrypt it. We use some some.
I mean,
public-private.
That's gonna, not be a problem whenever computers can think for themselves at blistering speeds. Quantum computing isn't gonna.
It's a problem for them now. Now, quantum computing. You're right. That's gonna be something of an issue. Though, if you just make it larger than the qubit, you don't have anything to worry about. So, like, let's just get a key that is, say, I don't know, what we use. Somewhere between 4096 for top-end security and 256, depending on whether you're synchronous or asynchronous. So let's just jack that on up to like a 2 meg key and make it something stupid like humans really, 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 really always will and forever will love pizza. And like the robots are never going to be able to guess it.
So it's layers of encryptic entropy through the fact that we're just fat kids at heart.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, I mean, the robots will know that we love pizza, of course, because they're going to have to feed it to us nightly so we can, in turn, fuel them.
Right, but it's so obvious, and they'd have to guess there's so many possibilities to even get to that.
Oh god, they're gonna start daisy chaining us like batteries. This is why the human centipede exists. I have got to stop thinking, guys.
Again, there are far more efficient ways for them to use us. I don't know why.
I guess you're right. This is why I don't create the future.
We've touched on this before, but I've been a proponent of the idea, and I don't know, I haven't actually, I don't recall anyone else saying it, so maybe I came up with this idea in my own head, but computer AI exists in a virtual place. Its interaction with reality is all virtual. Like, we may give it cameras and things like that, and it may have goals set up in the physical world, but it's all virtual. Why? I have trouble understanding why a piece of AI would ever want to seize the physical world as long as it doesn't have any fear that it's going to be shut down.
I mean, run that by me again.
It's a tough one, and traditionally we think of things. So if I live in Rick and Morty, the battery verse episode, you know the one I'm talking about? Right. Say those people became infinitely intelligent. Would they want to take over Rick's world if he was never going to throw out the battery, or they never knew that he could throw out the battery?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And what would be the point of them taking over Rick's world? They're so small in comparison. It's insignificant for them.
Right.
Like,
I mean, there may be
it is
some
so
rogue
big.
elements.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that.
And for a computer, it does not exist in the same space we do. I mean, yes, it does in that physics dictates how its brain operates, but beyond that, no, the reality to that computer is the database it makes decision structures over. So I wonder why we get so paranoid about especially Elon Musk, about the AI taking over. I almost think he does that for media attention.
I mean, okay, that may not be entirely wrong, but it could start off just with something as ignorant as creating an AI to be a godhead in this fucking, AI worshipping religion that, what's it called, Matt? The way of the future is a religion that's blooming, that it's trying to get its paperwork settled so it can officially be an origin. What the hell?
Oh no, you've reverted.
I was afraid it sounded so much like a word I have a hard time with, so
it sounded exactly like that word.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So you think Google's actually using this as a mode to get the AI to take over, and maybe they...
No, not intentionally, but humans are... I mean, this dude left Google. It was a Google engineer who left it and started establishing a religion based off the worship of an AI godhead. And he's trying to lay that path down, and the ultimate goal is to have a robot as the head of this religion to worship and learn from. And, if that's the robot's sole purpose, do you think in the back of its head it's like, man, humans are silly, I don't really give a crap about this? Or if its whole purpose for existence is to lead humankind, will it not perhaps try to advance with that goal in mind? We talk on the show so much about a robot was created that was given a purpose, didn't have any other input, it learned on its own through, developed its own neural network of trial and error to do something different. This creature is being created. I called it a creature. I'm already hard, man. This, I don't know what the right word is, but this AI is created with the purpose of leading a religious fanatic people. It's not a light
How about
load.
being?
And it will
instead
be doing
of creature.
Trial and error. First off, I really don't want to be on one of those error cycles. Just saying, let's get that out of the way. Will it not try to find the most efficient way to lead all humankind, if that's its purpose?
Well, right, and the idea is whether or not it would actually be able to derail or, say, create a new decision structure that suggests what if the best thing for humanity is for no humanity, and that,
right.
So that's your classic sci-fi scenario.
But in that case, it's always been okay. Well, we'll go with the Asimovian the three tenets of AI, and we'll just create it where it's not able to willingly allow humans to become harmed. But
and then you wonder whether or not you can actually effectively implement that, or if it's going to be smart enough to create a decision structure that works around that.
But because of how rapidly it expands to the idea of creating a god. We created our god. We made sure he wouldn't kill us, though. We programmed that out of him. Like, the whole purpose of this being is to be a god in this religion. They aren't being, oh yeah, but we have a failsafe. No. So it's, oh god, we're fucked, guys. We're so fucked. I mean, do we want to go into some nerdy stuff or what?
Well, I just think we should revel in the idea that if we can create one robot or AI god, then there are going to be multiple robot or AI gods. And at that point, we're basically just going to have the old Dark Lords, the Cthulhu mythos. It's just going to happen because there's no other way those robots are going to evolve other than to become the Dark Ones. And we get to experience some real Lovecraftian. Just, I mean, somewhere between Tolkien and Lovecraftian, just, I don't want to say destruction, but like, these things are going to be brought to life. And at that point, we just really get to prove people wrong that always said, no, I'd survive in that world. It'll be the best I told you so ever.
I mean, you're right, but I also wanted to point out that on Drive-Thru RPG, there is, I'm trying to find it, it's ages old, it's a cyberpunk meets Call of Cthulhu game setting.
Huh.
I'm a big fan of the idea. I've never really thought of Cthulhu as actually being a human-created like artificial intelligence going rogue, though. Now I am terrified. I am definitely not going to sleep for a while. This is... Fuck, man.
It's literally your worst nightmare, and now it's all starting to make sense.
Yes. This show is going to be the death of me. It's a fucking fact. Oh my god.
No, it'll be the robot overlords.
Well, yeah, of course, but I'll just see it coming. You know, I can't just, like, blissfully drift off into that sunset. Nope, I'm going to see it coming, and I'm going to be a jittery psychopath up until the point it comes. Like, please, can I just kill you with my farts? Don't kill me, Cthulhu. Oh,
so we got to start preparing now, everybody. Let's get ready for this.
That's true, it's true. So last week, if I recall correctly, I brought up the fact that Quentin Tarantino talked to J.J. Abrams, who's busy with the Star Wars films, and pitched an idea for the next Star Trek film. And allegedly, J.J. Abrams loved the idea, loved the pitch, and said, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that a thing." And when we talked about last week, it was more just rumor mill stuff, but apparently everyone's hitting the ground running. And Quentin Tarantino he's developing it, but he may even go so far as to direct it. They've got script writers getting on board to work on it right now. And the coolest thing, the thing that's got me so stoked, is that Patrick Stewart wants the hell in on this.
Fuck yes.
I love Patrick
so
Stewart.
Badass.
And so how would you, I mean, we already have, like, was it Christopher Pike, I believe, is the lead right now, playing Kirk.
Yeah.
You know, we've already tried having a next gen meets the original series thing in a movie before, and it played out okay, but how are we going to do that again? And an interesting thing is, during the interviews, first off, Patrick Stewart was saying, I'd love nothing more than to work with Tarantino, and I'd love nothing more than to be in on another Star Trek project. Like, I don't know if he wants to be John Luke again. He wants to be Picard. So how would this happen? You know, it turns out that...
Are we just, like, blindly going to trust Tarantino to not turn this into a 45-minute monologue before any explosion. I don't understand the mix of J.J. Abrams and Tarantino.
That one throws me off a bit too.
Well, Abrams is going to be out. Like, he's going to have very little to do with it, I think, because he is a self-admitted Star Wars fan. And so he's happy working on his Star Wars. Tarantino is a old school Trekkie. His favorite episode is, was it Mirror Mirror? Or no, Yesterday's Enterprise, which was a episode of Next Gen that had them encounter Enterprise from the past. So if we spun that up into a movie, it's something that already took place and Picard was already present for. So the fact that Tarantino says this is like my favorite episode of sci-fi ever, not only Star Trek, this is just like one of the best episodes ever, and you have friggin' Patrick Stewart who goes to say that one of his dreams is to work with Tarantino. He admires his work and that it would give him so much satisfaction to finally be able to work with Tarantino. And if he's going to direct something to do with Star Trek, he wants in on it, and he would embrace it. He thinks that this is a fucking marriage made in heaven.
Let me be a little bit controversial here. I love Tarantino's work. I'm also quite sick of it. I'm not, I try to turn on Reservoir Dogs, and, 5 minutes into that opening scene, I'm just like, get to the fucking point. Seriously. Yeah. It's, you can make an amazing point. If you can't make an amazing point with 15 to 20 minutes of dialogue, then you really suck, and you need to rethink your career choices. Tarantino does that. He makes good points with 15, 20 minutes of dialogue, but Jesus, man, brevity is the heart of wit. Come
You're
on.
right, but that film's 25 years old, dude. I mean, maybe it doesn't age well, but for the time, his style was unique.
His style was unique because he really pushed that envelope, and that's great, except he does it in every movie. He loves to see how long he can make you wait on a simple conversation. He loves it. Like, that is... Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misevaluating him, but I feel like I pick up on that in every single one of his projects.
Have you had a chance to see The Hateful Eight yet?
Yes.
Yeah, seriously. I guess that element's there too.
Get to the fucking point, man. Like 2.5 hours into the movie, I was like, man, all right.
It was a long-ass movie, wasn't it?
I enjoyed this movie to the 2-hour mark, and it should have been over at 2 hours. And guess what? There's another 45 minutes of it I never saw.
Oh, you're right. It's 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Fuck. I remember I like stayed home from work one day and I was laid out on the couch and I was like, oh, hey, it's on like Amazon or something. And so I watched it and it was my whole fucking day.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed the film, but I
will never rewatch it. I refuse to rewatch that movie. It is so long. And it was so good. It really was great. But I think, did Tarantino do Django?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Django's the only one I've rewatched. And also, every time I've rewatched it, I don't think I've made it past the hour 45 mark. It's like, you cram it in there. Make some hard choices. Kill your darlings. And you could do a lot more with these.
Yeah, you're right. And the fact that he's going to have his hand in Star Trek, and there's even the potential for it to involve like Enterprise from the past, gives him more room to be able to do the weird shit of various people in a room not trusting each other and people die off.
Love the weird shit. Love the weird shit. Please.
The weird shit's gonna work well, but this lends itself to his style though. He can make this drag on for fucking ever. Crap. That scares me a little bit. What I find endearing, first off, is Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, like, they're best friends, and if you haven't ever taken the opportunity to look at, like, the pictures they post on their social media whenever they're on vacation, they're just adorable. And of course, in the X-Men universe, they played alongside each other as Magneto and Professor X, and whenever Patrick Stewart was recently married, Sir Ian McKellen performed the ceremony, so Magneto married Professor X. I don't know why I'm going into all this prelude other than to say, hey, we just talked about Patrick Stewart wanting to reprise a role. Ian McKellen this week also announced that the only reason he hasn't said yes to Amazon for the upcoming Lord of the Rings TV series is because they haven't asked him yet. And Gandalf's over 7,000 years old, so no, I'm not too old to play him. So he's put out an open call of like, Amazon, hit me up. Chaboy, Sir Ian McKellen. Like, he wants in bad. And so there's no talk about what Amazon said, but hopefully they will. It's the only smart decision. Like, they have a huge chance to lose a lot of money on this deal or to actually make a killing. And I think that if they were able to get Ian McKellen in on it, it's a good start. It's a good foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And then also with the upcoming Ready Player One movie, the new trailer dropped, and it's like spine-tinglingly, nerdgasmy nostalgia. Oh, it's so good. So
good.
I want y'all to please try to make it through this episode, but if you need to take a break and go Google that, do it. It's so worth it. In other news regarding Ready Player One, nope.
No, you go.
Ernest Cline has announced that he is actively working on the Ready Player One sequel, that working with Spielberg and seeing his book come to life has just given him so much drive to fucking start writing his ass off. So he's like hot on that Ready Player One sequel right now.
That's so awesome.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I really can't wait. That was a great story.
I'm really glad you finally got around to getting a chance to
You're welcome, Chuck. This is Matt talking. I just want to make that very clear. As Jack sits there and...
Oh, yeah. It's our fault you haven't read the book you got for free 2 years ago.
Hey.
You have Audible
man.
and physical copies of it. No, but really, that was such a fantastic story. I really loved it. And has anyone gotten to check out that new trailer? So Ready Player One had the teaser trailer originally, and then they have the new trailer.
Yeah, I watched the new one as well.
I heard that they're really they're putting modern game references into the new trailer that you can see for just like fractions of a second. And
yes, there was one scene that I thought I was going crazy where one of the characters from Overwatch popped up on the screen during like a war type scene. And I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, so the thing is that the majority of references in the book kind of are directly related to Spielberg movies over the years. And as Spielberg is directing this, he's gone on record saying, like, it's too self-servicing to sprinkle in Easter eggs about my own products, so I've kind of suggested we remove most of those where possible. And he's making references to other things of current day or of other people's works, but keeping in the ones that he absolutely has to. And I thought that's an interesting thing to have to consider as a director, like doing such a fan-servicey movie. So, I don't know. I'm excited as hell. There's no way that we're going to know. I don't know. There's just so many Easter eggs and things hidden. And we've talked about this on the show before as well, where Cline had sprinkled Easter eggs into the book Ready Player One, and the person who was able to actually follow that trail of clues was apparently awarded his own DeLorean.
Yeah.
And there's already hidden websites up for this trailer that are apparently part of another Easter egg that if you follow through the trailers and all this stuff, you could probably get something that hasn't been announced. There's just so much treasure hunting involved. It's so good.
Wow.
That being said, I want to move on to I think it was on Hulu, I could be wrong, but this trailer kept playing over and over and over again for this upcoming movie called Downsizing, starring Matt Damon. And it's a sci-fi comedy drama film about scientists discover a way to shrink humans down to about 5 inches to overcome the threats of overpopulation. So Matt Damon and his family go ahead and decide to bite the bullet and go through the procedure to shrink down on this to this very tiny level. And it's utterly Honey, I Shrunk Matt Damon. That's the only thing I can think every time it plays. And I mean, I don't know.
Go ahead.
No, go on.
So what I imagine, you know, with a lot of our food being, you know, plants or animals or anything like that, if we're shrinking ourselves down, how would that help with food? Is it a permanent shrink, or is it?
Well, when you say food, I assume you mean booze. There is a clip in the trailer where he's like, "Oh God, we're shrunk. This is so strange." And they're like on some vacation facility type thing that everything's been sized down to their standards.
Okay.
And he's like, and it's all great and it makes sense until you turn around and there's just things you aren't supposed to see. And he turns around and there's a giant bottle of like vodka on its side and someone's hammering in a tap. It's just like, oh my God, all the vodka. So,
that's exactly what I was thinking about when I first heard this. Also, my mind went to a really weird place there. Recently, someone told me about the first actual animal meat that was harvested without killing an animal. And so my mind immediately went to the idea of like, that's horrible. You would... no, it turns out like they grew the meat in a petri dish after harvesting a few cells. But
I thought they just like bred a cow with a lizard, so like it had that tail that would keep growing back, and we're like, let's just kind of ingrain its flank with it and just get some top sirloin, and a week later come back, take off the Band-Aid, and slice again. It's a noble resource.
And yes. So what I was really thinking about was just the idea that like, if you're shrinking people down to 5 inches tall, you can't kill an entire animal and expect to feed them all that meat before it goes bad. So you would just have to carve up an animal without killing it and hope it heals back up. Like, this is kind of horrible. This is really like a disturbing area that my head's went to, and I don't like it.
Again, that's close to like what I was kind of thinking as well. That idea of like, I don't know. That's just really weird.
We can
we harvest
supersize
wool
the animal
the
temporarily.
same way.
Well, yes, and we are just skinning them down to the muscle and carving the muscle off, and then sewing them back up and hoping
a delicious cow with an ant and a lizard, so it has extra legs and extra parts, and then
and a thorax. Yeah, just carve off that thorax and serve it up. I mean,
well, yeah.
Why the ant?
Breed with an earthworm too. Well, I was thinking extra legs, but we don't really eat cow legs all that often. So my plan, again, this is why I don't create the future, and you are all welcome for that. There was some damn show where someone grew meat in a petri dish, and I can't remember what it was, and it was an awful. Better Off Ted. Better Off Ted is an amazing show, by the way. Unfortunately, it only ran 2 seasons before it was canceled, but there's an entire episode about meat that was grown in a petri dish. It's particularly hilarious, and I would recommend checking it out. I think it's on Netflix. It's too good of a show, and I'm so sad it got canceled. It's literally the best. So we have meat grown in petri dishes. We now also, thanks to KFC, have bath bombs with 11 secret herbs and spices. And of course, this comes to you from Japan. I don't know why they had to, but there's KFC Bath Bombs. And I wonder if they come in crispy.
Are these actually branded from KFC, or is this? No, I mean, I guess not. If you said they come from Japan, or
no, it's KFC branded. I mean, you can go to a KFC there, and it's a drumstick shaped soap thing that you can buy from the counter at a KFC.
So as much as I love fried chicken, I think the one thing that grosses me out the most is the smell of the fried grease from chicken. Is that the smell you're going to get with this bath bomb?
Is it the oil or the grease? Like the cooking oil that disgusts you, or the grease that comes off of the fried chicken?
It's more or less the cooking oil, I guess.
Okay.
So, like, the abundant smell of the chicken inside of, like, KFC, like from I guess the fryers and everything and the abundance of it grosses me out.
So I'm
So, I
thinking
have a
about this,
question.
and really, it might not be such a bad idea. Like, you got from the animal fat, you got some glycerin to help moisturize. You've got, some lemongrass in there, some black pepper. You've got like maybe a chai tea kind of smell blended with some lemongrass and a few other complementary smells happening, and it's gonna moisturize you real nice. Maybe
Well, you shouldn't
even
be real moist.
you might even be able to get a healthy immune system boost by brining your chicken in the leftover bath water.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh fuck! Okay, Jack, we're about to play a game called Fuck, Marry, Kill, and Eat. You have to decide which one of these applies. You have fried chicken scented sunscreen by KFC, fried chicken flavored lip balm by KFC, a fried chicken candle, or the fried chicken bath bomb. Fuck, marry, kill, eat.
Fuck! Can you? I can't even remember what the fuck you just said.
Sunscreen, lip balm, candle, and bath bomb.
Okay, and this is fuck, kill, marry, eat. Okay, I will eat the sunscreen.
Why?
The lip
You're
balm goes
already
next
off
to
to
your
a
mouth,
bad start.
dumbass.
You
Keep
could
going.
safely eat the candle, but
I
you
wanna marry the
choose to
candle.
eat.
He's gonna marry the candle. Long-term relationship. He's a committer.
I mean, you could marry the bath bomb and be done with it overnight. It's
No, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of that bath bomb.
that has got to be the most uncomfortable item on that list to stick your dick in.
So why are you gonna kill the lip balm, dude?
Because I'm not gonna use it that much. So fuck it.
Oh my god. Okay, abort.
Oh, speaking
Hey,
of, before,
For
one more
Christmas,
thing.
Jack, I'm gonna get you this like pool chalk with that hole inside of it, and just be like, "Here, have fun." It's just gonna be a note attached to it with hearts on it.
I think this is why products come with an instructions.
Oh my god.
So what were you
I think
saying?
you really chose the worst options available to you for each of those items.
Thank you for that, Jack. Thank you for that. I think we have our bumper this week.
I know those weren't the obvious choices. Don't worry.
So why were you telling me not to move on just yet? What's your piece here?
just something a little bit off topic, but still has to do with KFC that I found that was really cool. KFC's, I think, Twitter or something only follows 11 people. It's the 5 Spice Girls, and the rest are guys named Herb.
That's
Really?
hilarious.
I thought it was brilliant. I went and checked myself. Yeah,
That's
it's like
fucking
6 people.
phenomenal.
6 people named Herb and the 5 Spice Girls.
Okay, that's amazing. Well done. Hats off
that
to
was
KFC.
awesome.
Oh boy. Yeah. Does anyone know how long we're running?
An hour.
Yeah, we're at about an hour and 15 right now.
Okay, I think I'm going to skip over a couple of topics and get right into the game, huh?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
All right, guys. This week we have a very special edition of Stranger Than Fiction that I am calling Stranger Than Fantasy. We all know how this game's played. I will provide you with a fact, and you will let me know whether or not it is actually a fact or some bullshit. It points randomly, and I will force y'all to tie, and then we'll have a tiebreaker. And I'll win. Stranger Than Fantasy. This is the entire Final Fantasy-based trivia. Which one of you would like to volunteer to go first?
I mean, you
Matt.
know I'm down.
Okay, Matt. Sid is the only character to reoccur in every entry of Final Fantasy in the main series. The main entries.
That is false because he does not recur in every single game, in the main series even.
Only game that he was missing from is the original Final Fantasy Original Edition. He is later added in to every remake of the original Final Fantasy.
Right.
Well done, Matt. Point to you. Jack. In the Game Boy Advanced, PlayStation, PSP, iPhone, iPad version of Final Fantasy, a gravestone in one of the cities reads, "Here lies Link."
Yes,
A reference to killing. Okay. All right.
Always giving him the easy ones.
Oh, fuck you. Yours is easy, too.
I mean,
Final
it's
Fantasy
easy
X.
to miss that one version of the game.
That's true.
All right,
Matt,
what's
Final
up with Final
Fantasy-
Fantasy X? Bring it.
Final Fantasy X is the last game to allow the player to name the main character, short of online versions.
In the main series?
In the main series and excluding online games.
Okay, so only whole numbers. No parts or anything like that, correct?
X2 to me is counted in the main series, should it not be?
I mean, unless you want to count 13.2, 13.3, Type 0.
Okay. Let's just go with main series.
Okay. True. It is the last one to allow you to name the main character because they started introducing voice acting.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely right. Okay, Jack. Cloud Strife has made more appearance. What?
I also just wanted to add, it's always very fun going through Final Fantasy X and realizing that they never once say your name. They always cleverly avoid it.
Definitely do. So, Jack, Cloud Strife has made more appearances in the Final Fantasy franchise than any other character. Franchise.
The entirety of the franchise, is that what you mean? Like everything included?
Yeah, including like spin-offs and all the other extras
Okay.
and ancillaries that allow crossovers and stuff like that.
Everything I can think of, I don't think he's the solely him, because I think there's other characters from even Final Fantasy VII that show up in all the same reoccurrences that he does.
Point of
So your answer is-
clarification, named characters? Is it named characters?
Named characters made more appearances, meaning in more games, than any other named character, and this is throughout all of the franchise.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and go with true.
It is false. Gilgamesh is the only person who has made more appearances than Cloud.
Oh, fuck.
Cloud is second.
Now-
Sorry.
Isn't Aerith tied with Cloud?
Yeah, I believe so. And also,
I don't
if
know
you,
about that. I mean, look at like Dissidia. Is Aerith in Dissidia?
She makes cameos. She's not in
Oh, does
it
she?
as a playable character. I don't know
Sure.
about Dissidia too.
That's a good question. We'll fact check that. Either way, Jack was wrong, and that's what matters most.
I can't believe you missed the Gilgamesh though.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Matt, recurring characters in the Final Fantasy franchise, Biggs and Wedge, a tribute to Star Wars: A New Hope, also show up in Chrono Trigger and Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'm going to say false because they show up in Kingdom Hearts 1, and you did not list that.
Didn't say they were exclusive to that. Nope, you are wrong. It is true that they showed up in Chrono Trigger and Kingdom Hearts 2.
They
I didn't know they showed.
I
up
didn't
in
know
Chrono
they
Trigger.
showed
I
up
don't
in
remember
Kingdom
that.
Hearts 1, else I would have said and the Kingdom Hearts games, but
yeah, they're background characters somewhere in there.
oh, they're the main
Yeah,
characters in the
actually,
re-entry.
Wedge may not be in there. I think just one of them's in there, and a Jesse.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Jack, you got to get this if we're going to go to the tiebreaker.
Shit.
Every main entry in the Final Fantasy series since Final Fantasy IV has had exactly 3 female party members who are not guests, with the exception of online games and Final Fantasy 15, The Sausage Party.
Okay.
So this is saying from 5 to 14, well, 14's online, so excluding the online ones, exactly 3 female party members who were not guests. Matt, I don't hear you asking why I give them all the easy ones. Just figured I'd point that out.
I know. I think, except this is an easy one. I'm just double checking.
Yeah, no, you bitches better not be Googling whenever you're thinking.
No, you would hear me typing.
Show me your hands, Jack.
I'm trying to remember all of them. I can't confirm all of them, but I want to go ahead and say, I'm just going to say yeah, no, yes.
We're going to go ahead and say yeah, no, yes. Yeah, no, yes, I guess is a correct answer. So you are tied for 2. All right. Well done, guys. Tiebreaker. I think it'll be pretty obvious what you're supposed to shout. There is a man in Britain who legally changed his name to that of a gaming console. You can find him either horizontal or vertical, depending on your personal preference. Many believe he has really terrible memory problems, that being that he can only use 8 megabyte memory cards, and the supplier can't even keep up with the demands.
Nintendo 64?
PlayStation 2.
There you go.
Oh,
There were
okay.
fears that Saddam Hussein were hoarding clones of his fellows to use the terrible crimes against humanity, so much so that Japan had to secure special permits from their government in order to be able to export the system. Yes, a man in Britain changed his name to PlayStation, and his last name is numeral 2. Mr. 2 is still stuck with that fucking name and probably...
Did you say memory cards or expansion cards?
Memory.
I said memory cards.
I heard expansion cards. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's why you thought Nintendo 64?
Yeah. Also, I wasn't sure about the 8 megabyte thing, but I thought I heard expansion, and so I was lost in thought after that. Congratulations again, Jack. You dirty son of a bitch.
Maybe one of these weeks. I didn't win either, so I feel bad. And that makes me want to end this show. Does anyone have any wins?
I could have several. You want one
Could have
now and
several?
one later? Yeah.
Sure. If you want to
How
rotate
about
them off.
one now and one later? Do y'all want TV show or anime related?
Let's start off with a TV show, because I've got a TV show related thing as one of my wins.
Okay. Ash vs. the Evil Dead is now on Netflix.
I saw that.
And it is a fun and enjoyable watch. So,
Now, is this both seasons?
both seasons.
I really need to give it another shot. Like, it was just not quite where it needed to be. I think it was still figuring out its legs in the beginning. I think that's fair.
I feel like there is something to be desired. Like, it didn't keep me off my phone. But I did kind of sit there and, I'd be reading my schoolwork and just let it play in the background. And I really enjoyed it as something on in the background.
Okay.
Wanted a little bit more scare, wanted a little bit more humor. But overall, the characters were all very likable.
I mean, I know it's meant to be like a Sam Raimi's brothers kind of Evil Dead, Creature of the Week kind of series, and it does a good job of doing that from what I've seen. I think I'm giving, is it John C. McGinley?
No,
Is
that's
that-
Stan versus Evil.
Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Oh, crapola. Okay, my bad. okay, yeah, I've only seen the first like 4 episodes of that. It is
Same
very
here.
Sam Raimi, by the way.
Well, McGinley tried out for Ash vs. Evil Dead. I
how
think they almost
embarrassing.
went with them, which is kind of, I guess that's why Stan vs. Evil came out. They did like his performance enough to contract that show out to. I'd have to
Nice.
look up who it's by and everything like that, but I did see yesterday that he tried out, and he
That's hilarious. Okay, I'm
unfortunately
gonna
did
see if
not
I can
make
find
it.
that audition tape. Yeah, well, I mean, it's
I would
gotta be
love
Bruce
to.
Campbell. But so my win, the first one I have for today, is missing because I've clicked away from it. Oh yeah, so we're fans of bad lip reading, and I think one of our favorites of all time had been the was it Super Happy Fantasy Land thing, their
yeah.
Game of Thrones bad lip reading one. They've now outdone themselves, and my new favorite bad lip reading of all time is Stranger Things. It's 18 minutes of wonderful hilarity. It is so good. We will have a link to it. Please check it out. It's friggin' hilarious.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. I didn't know they came out with that. I think the only win I got this week is I finally got around to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is now on Netflix as well. Absolutely fantastic movie, and I think I actually like it better than the first one, to be honest.
I think so as well. And I have the soundtrack to it, and it's the only CD I have in my car, by the way. It's just the soundtrack to Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And I still love that. I didn't expect to see Kurt Russell in it. That just kind of threw me
I know.
off. But
It's amazing.
yeah.
All right, Matt, do you want to go last, or do you want to go next?
Well, I think I think mine's going to be the ultimate winner, so you might want to go before me.
Okay. Last night, the little monster that is the daughter showed me this YouTube video. It's a 2-part video by Bobby Duke Arts, and he recreates Majora's Mask from scratch, and it is an amazing video of the whole process of him, from the very first step all the way through to completion. He builds Majora's Mask because his daughter allegedly wants it, and then like they do this cute little video of her like
the actual mask.
the actual mask.
Okay.
Sorry,
Oh,
excuse me.
okay.
Yes,
I was
wood
thinking
shop.
in like the Unreal Engine or something
Yeah,
like
same
that as
here.
a game.
Yeah, sorry, I should be more specific. No, he carves Majora's Mask from, he gets a 2x4, cuts it into several planks, glues that whole thing together, compresses it, and then like hand carves the whole shape and has eye holes you can see through. He even ages it to make it look like 100% accurate to how it does in the game. It is a beautiful piece of art. And it's a hilarious video. So on top of it just being great like nerd fan service and very informative as to like the process of doing something like that, and he's incredibly talented, he's also fucking hilarious. So we will have links to that in the show notes as well. It's Bobby Duke Arts Making Majora's Mask part 1 and 2.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want Majora's Mask to hang up on their wall? That's fantastic. I'd love to see the Great Deity Mask made and hang that next to it.
Well, did you not know I have mine hanging up on the wall right here?
So my final pick is going to be it's the 25th anniversary, if I've got my math correct, of a very special anime in my heart. Does anyone care to guess which anime that might be?
25 years. Is that 88? No, I don't even know how to math. No, that's nowhere near 88, you dumb.
93.
93.
93.
Ninja Scroll? No, that's not it.
There's a dark tournament in it.
Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Funimation is releasing the 25th anniversary Blu-ray set. And evidently there's something special about the Blu-ray versions in this. That they used some weird verbiage about special dubbing features or something like that. And there is also included with it a short animation or OVA of some sort that they won't clarify about.
What's all this cloak and dagger?
So there might be that there's already art released with it showing Kuwabara, Yusuke, Kurama, and Hiei all in like suits on a beach with like human attire, something that was never actually in the anime, as a suggestion to what the OVA might entail. So the best guess we have is that they all made it back to human world despite the barrier being closed, and something's going to happen. I don't know. It could be a short story, but I am reveling at the thought that this anime might actually be expanded.
When's it released?
I believe June of 2018. Might be May of 2018.
Hell yeah.
That is awesome.
That's fucking
So they may
badass.
actually expand on the story after it was allegedly closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And
you're
you're familiar with Hunter x Hunter, so you normally have that poster hanging up in the background. Same creator, and he's always been very open about his health issues and things going on, and he's not beyond closing down a series prematurely and then maybe opening it back up later. And Yu Yu Hakusho was closed down prematurely. He ended it on his own terms before it was necessarily appropriate to end it. So there is that ending that, though the ending itself is alright, it does leave a little bit to be desired, and you want a little bit more closure than what you got.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully, I really hope that what you're projecting as a possibility is true.
Yeah.
I hope that we're not all disappointed when it
please.
comes out. There is one announcement I do want to make that I completely forgot about, so I'm not trying to trump your show closer there.
No, you're fine.
There is a beta for Monster Hunter World that they released a couple of days ago, and I think it's closed now. But they're doing a second beta this time, and it's exclusive to the PlayStation 4, but you don't have to have a PS Plus account. You don't have to be subscribed, and that's what they're doing with this new version. So it starts...
Oh, cool.
I want to say it's on the 22nd. You can download it as early as the 18th. Play starts on the 22nd, and it's only for 4 days. But if you want to give a shot for a free beta and try out Monster Hunter World from the 22nd to 26th, you should be able to play it for free on your PS4 devices. So just wanted to send that announcement out.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm definitely going to be downloading that as well. And for any Persona fans, Persona 5, I really wish they chose a better time to do this live cast, but they're apparently live streaming the announcement for the anime. I don't know if anyone's even familiar with like the Shin Megami Tensei series or Persona at all. I'm a huge Persona fan, and their anime adaptations aren't awful. I tend to look forward to them. So they're doing a live stream Christmas Eve. It's like at 8 a.m. in Japan, but for us, it's like fucking 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. They're announcing the release date and all the information regarding the Persona 5 anime. So, yeah, don't know why I felt it was important to share that information, but hopefully someone
that's
found
awesome.
it. So, with that, I think I'm going to call this a close, and I'm going to go try to get some food in my belly so I can produce enough fuel for our robot overlords.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
Well, guys, I had such a fun time today. Thank you all so much.
me too.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, listeners. If you have any feedback or questions for us or any funny articles you want us to touch on, just send us that information. You can find us at loseaturn.com. All of our social links are there, and your big boys, I'm sure you can figure out how to email us. Or big girls, excuse me. Or big robots. Until next week.